Yes, I have just woken up.
I come to speak to my friend Steve here about his Disco. He loves modern Land Rovers, and yet all he does is adore the old ones. He's got some very good views.
I love that. I'm gonna pretend I'm professional interview.
Hi Steve.
Hello.
What's your name, Steve?
Well, it's Steve, but...
Alright Steve. Explain your fairly unique Disco.
It is a Discovery one, but I wanted a Discovery that did everything just that little bit better. I wanted a car that I could use on-road and off-road. I wanted to use a Discovery as a Discovery, i.e. I need to be able to travel long distances, I want to be able to tow a heavy trailer, and I want to be able to have fun off-road. So everything I've done has kind of been in that aim, trying to get it just that little bit better, that little bit more comfortable, that little bit more capable, that little bit safer. Interior wise, it's mostly for my own benefit. I like my creature comforts. So it's got most of a Range Rover Classic. It's got the seats, which took quite a bit more work than I expected because I found that the floor pans are different. So I had to cut out the floor pan of a Range Rover. But they are much more comfortable, even in the Discovery ES seats, and they're also electrically adjustable and heated, which is nice. Changed the dashboard, mainly because I was fed up with the original one rattling, and the Range Rover dashboard is just that little bit higher quality, that little bit better made, and because the binnacle's all one piece, that doesn't come loose. The only real things to point out on the dashboard, the gas switch, which I've tried to integrate in so you can't tell that it's anything unusual. So below eye level, it's apart from different door cards, which again are slightly stronger, slightly less rattly. It's pretty much business as usual. Again, another little step up I did was the Range Rover and later Discovery 2 centrepiece, because this is all one piece, so you don't get the problem with this panel rattling loose. Just makes it feel like a little bit more solid. Bit of a giveaway on the dashboard that something's not quite normal under the bonnet.
No. Okay, do you want to explain that then?
I decided it wasn't quick enough. Yes, it was a 3.9, but a 3.9 with an auto box that isn't the most up to date. It was quite thirsty and not particularly quick, so I want to have a bit of a play with it. So I put a 4.6 in out of a P38, which brings a few benefits. One is it's a lot torquier, so you need a lot less throttle for any given speed, which tends to mean less fuel consumption under normal driving. The other really big thing with the GEM system is that it does away with the distributor, which means this will go wading. No loss of ignition, no misfiring. You can drive it so there's water over the bonnet and it'll still run absolutely fine. So what I've done is made my life much more difficult. It's now a lot more difficult to work on. But we've got P38 GEMS V8, which I fitted, did your usual porting, polishing, etc. to the cylinder heads, but it wasn't quick enough. So I fitted a couple of turbos as well. Now makes somewhere around 350 horsepower and quite a lot of torque. So it's usable, it'll keep up with everyday traffic, which actually Discoveries were getting to the point where they couldn't. Modern turbo diesels were leaving them behind, and it just makes life that little bit easier knowing you can get out of a difficult situation. So we've also got the usual refinements like twin batteries and
a relay?
Yes we have. In fact, come here, we've got a little pack here to run things like the extra lights, cooling fans because there's no space for the viscous anymore, and then there's a 200 amp solenoid down there to connect the two batteries when necessary. And
it's got air suspension, right?
It has, yes. Again, wanting to be a little bit better in every situation, and I want to be able to go further off-road, but I need it to be comfortable on the road. And also I do a lot of towing. The big thing with towing is you've got to get your nose weight right. If you've got springs, that will alter the attitude of the car, which then alters the handling. If you've got air suspension, it will compensate for the load and the attitude of the car doesn't change. So you've then got a vehicle which you can load as you like, have a heavy trailer on the back, and will still tow with much more safety. It won't sway, it won't buck over bumps, it just rides smoothly. And of course, because it's the Land Rover system, at higher speeds, if you're not towing, it will lower itself to try and present a slightly smaller frontal area and again help fuel economy.
Which suspension do you take it from? Which model, sorry?
This is all from a Range Rover Classic Vogue SE. It was an option, so it wasn't, not every one of them had it, and it did mean completely gutting the vehicle, completely stripping the wiring loom and threading it in wire by wire, but I do feel it's worth it.
Has anybody else done this with their D1?
Not as far as I'm aware, no.
So yours is pretty unique then, you know, twin turbo LPG air suspended D1.
Yeah, it suits me. When I got it, it did about 8 miles to the gallon, and would go wherever a standard Discovery would go because it was standard. Now it will do about 18 to the gallon, and will go places most Defenders won't go.
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
Again, little things to make my life easier. Hardwired sat nav,
Yep.
auto dimming mirror with a compass, and then here, air lockers. Front and rear air lockers, and an onboard compressor, which is hidden under the passenger seat.
Blimey, I didn't know it had air lockers.
So yeah.
So it's fairly just amazing.
It will go a lot further off road than vehicles that look like they're designed to go off road. Because it's got massive articulation, although it doesn't really show it with how it's parked. And another thing with the air suspension is that at full extension, you've still got spring pressure on the articulated wheel. Whereas the thing with coil springs is they tend to be dislocating close to full articulation. So this has still got ground pressure on that tyre, so it doesn't tend to lose traction. And again, another thing about trying to make things useful, side steps and rock sliders. You see people with rock sliders and you see people with side steps. Well, side steps generally sit too low, so you lose ground clearance, and rock sliders, they never fill them in, so they're really difficult to stand on. Simple bit of plate, you've then got something which is virtually indestructible and helps you get in and out of the vehicle. So, American spec 2-inch hitch, and a 13-pin socket there.
Yep.
It's the work of 30 seconds to remove it completely. But you're now finding a lot of trailers have got 13-pin electrics, whereas a lot still use your 12N and 12S electrics. Well, you need a converter for that. Well, I thought a much simpler option is to have everything available on one vehicle. So I've got standard electrics wired to the tow ball, but if you have a modern trailer, just unplug that connector there and you've got 13-pin there. So you've got every eventuality and you don't have to carry a converter cable.
That's brilliant.
It's just there.
And a high lift,
Yes,
just in case.
just in case. Well, to be fair, it does get used.
Yeah?
When I was working out articulation and rod lengths, I used the high lift to lift the car up. All of this is because of the newer Discoveries. I'm trying to make it more Discovery, more useful. So it's looking at what Land Rover have done, how they've pushed them in every area, comfort, usability. And I'm just trying to do the same with mine. I just can't afford a newer one.
If someone said to you, they say they're the same price, this, and they say the D5, new Discovery, if someone said, do you want to do a swap, and they're worth the same amount of money, what would you do?
Isn't that the ultimate question?
Well,
if it were a head-only decision, you'd have to be a no-brainer. You'd have to go for the new Discovery. The only thing that would stop me is the memories I've got with this one.
okay, so nostalgia rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the case with most Land Rovers, though, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and but that is purely a heart decision because of the experiences I've had with this. It's the amount of miles that have rolled under the bonnet, the amount of situations it's got me out of, the amount of things it's helped me with. There's a lot of history with this vehicle. But yeah, it's despite everything, it isn't a patch on the newer Land Rovers. If it was, there'd be a problem.